Everyone says that when you sit with someone at their deathbed, they just talk about how they wish they'd spent more time with the people they love. No one ever talks about work. No one ever talks about they wish they'd spent another day at work. I think they were probably working wrong. I'm real happy at work. I'm real happy with the people I work with.
以前の職場ではとにかく一人一人が固まってオフィスのキュービクルの中で働いているようなイメージだったんですね。でもビスコチートはとってもオープンで、とにかくお互いを尊敬してサポートするような職場だと思います。
Every employee is part of the chain, so none of us can break. And it's like a hobby. It's fun. I like the people, and there's a lot of people.
I am really, really curious, and I am really interested in relationship, and I am really interested in the way our relationships with each other support us through life and support us on our journeys. I'm a little bit obsessed with it, and I love it.
Caregivers can be involved in the conversation and in the decision making. That's what we need. And we need that everywhere. Because when decisions are made that impact the people who do the work, nobody knows that better than they do. Those are the voices that should be informing the way decisions are made. And that is true across the board.
During the pandemic and just before the pandemic, my grandmother was needing more and more support. And my grandmother is very much my soulmate. Everything I know of love, I've learned from her. And she needed more help before the pandemic. And I went on care.com and I called care agencies and interviewed caregivers. She lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. It takes me about 3 hours to get to her. You know, we interviewed people and we found some people and none of them worked out. Nothing formal, nothing that looked like what was happening at Santa Lucia, like this really comprehensive, planned, beautiful care. That I couldn't find it. And I couldn't create it. I couldn't find 2 caregivers and then support them with all my heart and have them be able to support my grandmother. It was all too complex and I couldn't make it work. And I realized that the problem I was having maybe was shared by a lot of people. And so I got really, really curious. I didn't say, I can solve this. I didn't say, I've got this. I didn't say, I see a future state. I just started asking questions. And it led us here.
Well, as caregiving for my grandpa, he had, it was really difficult. We didn't know how to take care of him. He had advanced stages of Alzheimer's, and not knowing what I know now would have changed my life in the way that I cared for him. As time went, I took care of my grandma and my grandpa, and I still am a familial caregiver to my grandma. And I think it plays a huge role here at Biscochito because I can see what some of the caregivers are going through, and I have some insight on how on some issues that they might be going through, and it's just I can connect with them. There's a connection there, and so I try to bring that compassion into the work that I do here at Biscochito.
And that's what I liked about Biscochito, that you're not just going and caring for somebody, because you're right, we have to do tasks, we have to make sure things are done, but it's much more than that. We're caring for them, and we're also helping them to live their best life possible.
And we're recognizing them as autonomous individuals and with the right to make their own choices, even if they don't make very good choices or aren't able to make very good choices for themselves. There's that individual respect that's really important. Helping them through their anxiety and their fear and their bad times.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, it's challenging what they're going through.
Like you said, I think it's coming in just being mindful, being there in the moment, accepting what's happening and not being judgmental.
Yep.
So I worked in oncology for about 15 years. And it being outpatient instead of in a hospital setting allowed me to build more relationships with patients. And that felt really lovely. You see them week after week. It's not in such an acute setting. Get to know each other, celebrate holidays together, birthdays, those kinds of things. And it was wonderful. I felt incredibly happy and incredibly blessed. And I really prided myself on the time that I spent with my patients. And again, I had one of those light bulb moments of like, oh, not all the other nurses do this. When their patients come and sit down and I sit with them for 10 minutes and just talk and have that eye contact. And through that, I'm able to tell how someone is. And the very same week that I had my last day at that job, Kimberly reached out to me about this new company that she was starting.
To me, what really stands out is from the beginning when I first started here, how Kimberly, she promotes self-care and encourages self-care, which is something I maybe could say that I didn't really think about it before, but you really have to take good care of yourself in order to care for somebody else, which is a really important thing in this business.
She makes you feel comfortable. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to bring to this company? I mean, she lays out the format. She comes up with what we're here to do, what our mission is, but then she allows you to just thrive and be what you want to be at the company. Like, bring what you want, bring what you can to the company.
It's something like if we're a coffee pot and we're only like half full, how are we going to fill somebody else up? We can't do it.
Biscochito は特にチームワークが成り立っていて。
Yeah, I really love that. I love that we work as a team.
Yeah.
I love that we don't feel like we're going to step on everybody's toes if we do something out of proportion. I love that we can work as a team and not as a hierarchy.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I think the incredible thing about being in a workplace environment like Biscochito and what Kimberly is creating here is that she's showing up with her whole self. She's really demonstrated as a leader what she thinks is good for all of us. And that example is so incredibly beautiful.
It's easy to see that there's a need in the market. It's easy to see that if you treat caregivers a little better than your competition, you're going to get the better caregivers, right? That's easy math. I could try to be a lot fucking better. Like, I could try to keep pushing and really looking at what really is the need. You need caregivers. What else do you need? What do you need from the caregivers? What does that look like? Caregivers need to be paid as employees and be able to earn paid time off. Seems real basic, doesn't happen for most of them. So why don't I bring them in and give them that basic thing? They're all really grateful. They're all really happy. Could we take it a little deeper? Could we do a little more? Could I figure out more? Then it goes from, well, then what you've got is the difference between this really clean, great story, perfect example, I'm sure, lifelong case study in business schools, and something really meaty and interesting and juicy that might leave a legacy for several generations. So not just a simple case study for my generation, but something that could really make a tangible difference in a lot of people's lives and set a serious example. And that's what I think we have the opportunity to do.
That does have a ripple effect.
I mean, there's so much that goes into it and so many feelings and emotions, but like to me, it's just all worth it. It's so worth it. Like, you know, how do our clients feel? How do the people we care about, how do they feel? How do their families feel? You know, if we can have a good conversation with the person we care for and their family, and they say, you know, we love this caregiver, or, you know, you're making a difference in their life. To me, that's success.
Por ejemplo, cuando una persona está en hospice, cuando una persona está en sus últimos días, definitivamente no solo el paciente necesita atención, sino también la familia. Y nosotros como profesionales es parte de nuestro trabajo, pues darle support al cliente y también ayudar a la familia.
Just a couple of weeks ago for a Christmas party, the caregiver I was relieving was getting dutied up for a Christmas party, makeup and everything. And the person we support was sitting right there, watching her, just watching her. And she's putting on my eyelashes, and she's just, you know, mascara and everything else. And okay, so she left. And the person we support, who rarely has any depth in conversation, said, "How about me?" And to me, it was like, there's a real life person in this little body. So I quickly ran to the restroom and got some cotton swabs and Q-tips and just little nothings. And I said, okay, let's do your face. And we played the part for a good 20, 30 minutes. And then I told her, don't move. I have you to know she fell asleep on the couch. It was funny, but it was so much fun. And it was make-believe. All of it was make-believe. So it made me feel like, yes, she made connections with the real world. I made connections with the other world. But we were all together, the two of us.
It's not just having someone to come in and make sure that my grandmother has dinner every night, to make sure that she has support when she needs to bathe so that she doesn't fall, to make sure that her sheets are changed and her laundry is done. That's not actually what I need. What I need is for someone to see her. I need them to see her. I can't be there with her all the time. If someone is going into her house to do those tasks for her that I would love to do every day, I would love to do those things. I want to do those things. If they get to go in and do the tasks that I already want to do, I need them to see her. I take her out and people say to me, "Oh, she is such a sweet old lady. She reminds me of my grandma." And that bugs the shit out of me because she is nothing like their grandma. She is Martha Corbett. She is my grandmother.
The chances are that if something's coming up for one of them, it's coming up for more than one. And so we can take those gems that are brought back to us from the field and think about how we use that to make sure that our caregivers really, truly have what they need.
Biscochitos is an A+. Biscochitos cares. That word caregiving, it's real. And it's not just about the client. It's about us and our functioning and those that we meet. That once I walk in, drive up to this parking lot, I know we're going to have smiles, happiness. It's Christmas every time we get together.
De este trabajo es mi pasión, servir a los demás. Y lo hago con todo mi cariño, con todo mi amor. Y cada experiencia es diferente. Y lo más que te puede llenar en este trabajo es cuando tus clientes te toman la mano y te dicen gracias por tu trabajo. O sea, es lo mejor que puedes recibir, ese gracias. Con eso tú te llenas mucho, con el gracias que ellos te pueden dar en su trabajo. Y amo mi trabajo, por esa razón amo mi trabajo y me gusta hacer lo que estoy haciendo. Es parte de mi vida ayudar a las demás personas.
I get to show up at work and I get to build companies where we value each other, where my dreams and my goals are valued by my team, and their dreams and goals are valued, their needs are considered, their what they perceive to be weaknesses or where they have needs for support are supported and seen. Like I get to live that way at work too. And that can keep stretching. And the question with Biscochito is how far can we stretch it?